Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. The city of Prince Albert continues to deal with the effects of a multi-day snowfall event. This is what it looked like this morning in Prince Albert, where Environment Canada expects up to 20 centimeters of snow by Saturday. Areas in the north, including La Ronge, are expected to get anywhere between 40 to 70 centimeters. Highway travel is not recommended for most of central and northern Saskatchewan due to the snow and low visibility caused by wind. Parkland Ambulance says it has responded to at least 12 slip and falls over the last 2 days and a half dozen vehicle collisions. No serious injuries were reported in either. For up-to-the-minute information on road conditions, check the highway hotline. The Saskatoon Police Service is urging drivers to slow down and stay alert after responding to dozens of weather-related collisions this morning. Police say between 6 a.m. and noon, officers were called to 41 collisions across the city. It comes as a late-season snowstorm creates slippery and hazardous road conditions. Environment Canada says Saskatoon, Prince Albert, and Meadow Lake could see 15 to 20 centimeters of snow by tomorrow morning, while La Ronge could get up to 70 centimeters. A traffic sergeant is reminding drivers to avoid unnecessary travel and to use extra caution on the roads.
Just to make sure you drive slower, obviously because of road conditions, and give yourself a lot more distance time when braking for intersections and stop signs or whatever else that might be on the road.
In Prince Albert and Saskatoon, temperatures are forecasted to climb above freezing starting on Sunday, rising slowly over the next week. Well, Jeff, the good news, there's no bugs out there this time of year.
yeah, there's the upside. Yeah, there's no bugs. The mosquito situation is really great. We've got ourselves, as you were mentioning, John, a multi-day storm event for many parts of the province. In Saskatoon, it started today, or at least in the overnight period, but Prince Albert and area have been dealing with it for the last 24 hours or so. And this, you just watch on the satellite imagery, we can see this system sliding back, actually retrograding, regressing, reversing, call it what you will. Instead of taking the usual track of moving from west to east, it is just hanging around. So we've got a lot more snow to deal with, and we'll talk more about that later on.
Students at the University of Saskatchewan are looking for more supports to grapple with affordability concerns. The University of Saskatchewan announced its tuition and fee changes for the fall, and the University of Saskatchewan Students' Union says more needs to be done to help the many students struggling to get by. Many programs will see tuition increases by 3%, the limit the province has established for Saskatchewan post-secondaries. The Students' Union also says more than 200 new or revised fees are included this year, making students choose between food, rent, or going further into debt.
We see a lot of students coming to our food center, getting emergency food hampers, coming to us for other financial supports that we're not always in a position to offer, but we definitely hear those student concerns a little more than we're used to hearing.
The university says it has increased open access resources, allowing students to avoid paying for costly textbooks. It's helped save students nearly $2 million in the past year. We're getting a look at how much it's costing the city of Saskatoon to deal with Dutch elm disease. A report from city administration describes cases of Dutch elm disease as increasing at an alarming rate, with 41 cases reported in 2025 compared to 11 in 2024 and just 4 in 2023. The city says Elmwood disposal initiatives in 2024 and 2025 cost just over $318,000. That's $168,000 more than the budget of $150,000. Last year, twice as much Elmwood from residents and commercial customers was disposed of compared to 2024. Starting last year, all disposal fees were waived from loads of Elmwood at the landfill. The future of energy, and the role of nuclear power took center stage at a keynote lecture at the University of Regina last night. It focused on how outdated structures could impact the shift toward new energy solutions, including nuclear power. The keynote speaker, Tim Stone, a former advisor to governments and a key figure in international energy projects, shared insight from decades of global experience. Organizers say the goal isn't to push a single viewpoint, but to spark a broader conversation about how energy systems are evolving.
If you think globally, you're seeing really rapid transitions with lots of spikes, as we've seen in the last couple of months with the Iran war. I think understanding Some things that certainly I see as very technical, like transmission capacity, is part of the story too.
The keynote was followed by a panel of Saskatchewan experts discussing what these global shifts could mean for Saskatchewan. A Winnipeg man accused of making death threats toward the Prime Minister is now facing more charges. The 55-year-old was arrested in February and charged with 3 counts of uttering death threats. Federal RCMP today announced 3 additional charges, advocating genocide, willful promotion of hatred, and an additional charge of threatening the Prime Minister with death. The investigation started in January after a social media user allegedly posted threats toward Mark Carney and incendiary messages about Jewish and Muslim communities. He remains in custody and had a court date scheduled for today. WestJet is joining other airlines in charging more for checked luggage. Travelers will now have to pay $10 more for their first or second checked bag. That number drops to $5 if you signed up for checked baggage beforehand, but if your bag is oversized or overweight, that will cost $50 more. This is WestJet's 3rd increase to baggage fees in just 3 years. Air Canada announced a price hike last week. The first bag fee for economy basic passengers is increasing from $35 to $45 for travelers within Canada or to and from the U.S. After the break, a new initiative with the Prince Albert Police Service. Mike Siona learns more details about Coffee with a Cop.
We're coming to you from Prince Albert this morning with Deputy Chief of the Prince Albert Police Service, Verica Prince. And Deputy Chief, we haven't got our coffee cups here, but you guys do have Coffee with a Cop coming up. Tell us about it.
That's right. We're really excited for this new initiative here in Prince Albert. We're going to have 3 different events at the new McDonald's here in Prince Albert. We're really thankful to our friends and partners at the Chamber for making this happen. And yeah, we'll have 3 different events where we're going to invite members of the public to come and hang out with us. Come and have a coffee, come and have some discussions. We're really looking for feedback and an opportunity to connect with our community in a non-enforcement setting.
Nice. So it really is that simple. Come grab a coffee. Anybody is welcome. What kind of things? I mean, you mentioned some feedback. That's a pretty wide gamut. What are you anticipating you're going to hear?
Right. You know, it's really easy for us to get caught up in the analytics and the data, and we really want to hear from the community on how they're feeling, what they're experiencing, what they need us to focus on, what they'd like us to focus on. You know, we're coming into the final year of a strategic plan that was launched in 24, and we're looking to refresh it. And so we want to see if our priorities are still relevant, if our goals are still relevant, and if we need to pivot anywhere. So we really need to hear from our community on what they want to see from us and what they'd like to see happen with public safety in Prince Albert.
Before we get too far, where is it and when is it?
Right. So we have 3 events coming up, May 4th, 5th, and the 11th at the 3 different McDonald's here in town. So, you know, this new energy is really exciting. We were able to partner with the Chamber to make this happen. So we're really thankful for the invite and thankful for McDonald's for making this happen.
Very, very cool. Really a good opportunity to maybe branch out and change your focus. We were kind of chatting here as we were waiting for this hit about the difference between, you know, the analytics and the crime statistics and this perception of public safety.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting, and it's a conversation that we're constantly having. As police, we can get stuck in the data sometimes, and we're focused on crime trends, you know, severe crime, habitual offenders, and sometimes we forget or maybe don't focus on receiving feedback on what makes people feel unsafe in Prince Albert, because it's not necessarily the severe crimes or the habitual offenders that we're focused on, and so we need to hear that feedback from our community, and this gives us an opportunity to sit down, have a coffee, and try to get a better understanding of how people are feeling.
No doubt about it. Now, feedback, obviously something that a police service does on a fairly regular basis in different avenues, Coffee with a Cop being one, but there's another engagement survey that's out right now.
That's right. You know, as we look to refresh our strategic plan and make sure that our priorities and our goals are still relevant, we have put a call out to our community stakeholders and partners as well to see where they're at. And we're really looking for ideas. We're looking to identify problems that maybe aren't on our radar right now that need to be. And then internally in our organization, we're doing the same. How are people feeling? What is our frontline experiencing that maybe we at an administration level don't know about or understand? Being solution focused, we're looking for ideas. I mean, we look across the country and internationally to see what's working, what's not in different jurisdictions, and this feedback is just going to be crucial for us moving forward. It's really going to shape the future of public safety in Prince Albert.
There you go. Well, that's one avenue. And then, of course, anybody who's out there watching has an opportunity to come down on May 4th, 5th, or 11th at one of the three McDonald's. All the details on the exact details you can find on the website. And, yeah, should be great. Coffee with a Cop in Prince Albert.
When we return, Jeff previews the weekend weather conditions, and Canadian researchers take a closer look at the drug Paxlovid. Sure doesn't feel like game one of the Eastern Conference final with all the weather outside, Jeff, but this is I guess the hand we've been dealt.
It's relentless. We have a stubborn Montana low that really isn't following the usual track. We've been talking about that for the last couple of days. It is just sort of parking and just cycling around, moving back and forth, actually moving backwards in terms of its direction, when in fact it was typically be moving towards the east. Well, it just sort of cycles around and continues to sort of push back into the western parts of the province. And of course, it's got a big footprint, big wingspan, and so it's bringing snow to a whole lot of Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Alberta. Actually, in Manitoba, towards the western or the eastern side of the province, is more of a rain event and even some possible thunderstorms. They actually had some thunderstorms in Regina yesterday. So here we go. There's the bullseye. The computer modeling indicating that low pressure center has just sort of parked itself in central Saskatchewan or east central Saskatchewan, just sort of sliding around, maybe moving a little backwards towards western parts of the province. But it is just hanging around and in the process dumping a lot of snow. So some places could expect to see an extra 2 to 4 centimeters of snow in the overnight, and that goes for much of the Prince Albert region. So Spiritwood, -8 degrees, -7 overnight for the Battlefords, -6 in Candle Lake, -7 in Birch Hills, -6 for Rostern. The overnight temperature in Nipawin, -6 degrees, and -7 in Melfort. Again, we're dealing with either periods of snow or the snow tapering off, but snow nonetheless in this region. And some of that snow sticks around tomorrow. Spiritwood, -2 with snow, or at least flurries in the Battlefords region, -1, and some flurries in Rostern, Birch Hills, and Candle Lake. Just a cloudy situation in Nipawin tomorrow with a high of 0 degrees and -2 in Melfort. On to Prince Albert and areas. So the Gateway City dropping down to -6 degrees tonight. About 2 to 4 centimeters of snow is anticipated. Now it's going to start off windy. After midnight, it's going to remain windy, and then after midnight, the winds are expected to die down as we roll into Saturday. And here's what we can expect on Saturday. Still some periods of snow out there, but a much less precarious situation. I know we had lots of not a whole lot of a lot of travel recommendeds, but we had some of those alerts. But a lot of if you checked out the highway hotline, a lot of places with covered and low visibility. So there were some nasty conditions out there, but the visibility should probably not be an issue tomorrow, with just winds out of the north at 15 kilometers an hour. Still a chance for some flurries on Sunday, 1 degree, 3 on Monday, 6 on Tuesday, and then double-digit temperatures on Wednesday, back to seasonal temperatures on Thursday, and 1 week from today, the 1st of May, 16 degrees. So that's how things are shaping up for the next 7 days, John.
Boy, what a difference a week makes, eh, Jeff? That's impressive.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the opening games, like we said, of the WHL's Eastern Conference Final are the hottest ticket in town. On the Raiders' Facebook page Tuesday, pictures of lineups filling the lobby with fans trying to get their hands on one of about 3,300 available tickets. Last night, the team announced the visiting Tigers had returned 60 of their allotted tickets for Game 1. But the Raiders' front office is confirming tonight is completely sold out. The team is waiting to see if Medicine Hat releases their tickets for Game 2. Puck drop for both games is 7 o'clock. The Swift Current Broncos have named Travis Crickard as their new head coach and general manager. Crickard spent 5 seasons with the St. John Sea Dogs of the QMJHL, starting as an assistant, then head coach in 22-23. He added GM to his title in October of 2024. He left the team 2 months ago. Crickard also spent time as an assistant with the WHL's Kelowna Rockets and with Team Canada's under-17 and under-18 programs. The Regina Pat Canadians will head to the TELUS Cup's semifinals as the top seed after a round-robin finale win over Okanagan.
Nice long pass by Montaigne for Pugh. Pugh scores!
Liam Pugh scored twice on the way to a 5-4 win. He's got 4 goals and 9 points this tournament. Maddox Schultz and defenseman Ethan Young lead the tournament with 13 points. The Pat Canadians face the Halifax Max in the semifinals on Saturday. If they make it to the final, they would play for a record sixth national title.
Do you have a community event you would like to promote? Or maybe you'd like to draw attention to your organization. Let your local CTV station help you spread the word. Contact us at 306-922-6020 or email panews@ctv.ca. You can appear on CTV Prince Albert's News at 5 and get your message to our viewers.
A drug that was touted in the early fight against COVID is being re-examined by Canadian researchers. So what does the future hold for Paxlovid? Pauline Chan reports.
Paxlovid is an antiviral that was funded by Canadian authorities early in the COVID-19 pandemic.
Seemed to reduce death and hospitalization in a mostly unvaccinated kind of population, and also with people who were a bit higher risk.
But now with most Canadians vaccinated at least once,
we did this to really see, is this medication having the same impact now in a much more vaccinated population? Also people who have had developed some natural immunity by getting infected themselves. And really what we found in this was that it didn't have an impact on hospitalizations and death, although it did find that that people actually recovered a little bit earlier when they took this medication.
Dr. Andrew Pinto says cost is a big factor in assessing Paxlovid's future role.
Retail, it's about $1,400, which is a very expensive amount for an infection, which most people have a short-term illness from and then recover.
But the role of vaccines is somewhat unclear. We don't know exactly how long their protective strength lasts. Uptake has slowed dramatically, plus the virus is still mutating. Paxlovid continues to be covered with different criteria in each province.
In Ontario, if you meet the criteria, which are, for example, people who are 65 and older, who have a test that which can be a rapid antigen test or a PCR test that shows that you have COVID.
But with little evidence now of it reducing hospitalizations or deaths,
this will be something that the Ministry of Health makes a decision. They'll look at all of the evidence carefully and decide kind of, is this a good use of public funding?
It could be that funding is reserved for only those at the highest risk. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
There's more evidence linking the habit of consuming ready-to-eat ultra-processed foods with premature death. Researchers from Harvard found people who were quick to reach for a sugar fix, at least 7 servings a day, were more likely to die when they checked back 30 years later. This group was also more likely to pass from brain disease like dementia. Those foods with the strongest link to death at follow-up: microwavable meats, artificially sweetened beverages, and packaged breakfast items. Researchers add not all processed foods are created equal. Processed whole grains decreased the death effect. Those who maintained a healthy diet as a whole did not die prematurely. And the Alzheimer's Society of Canada says an estimated 771,000 Canadians are living with dementia. Despite advances and continued research, it remains a disease without a current cure, but experts say there are ways to reduce the risk of developing the disease. Healthy habits include protecting your head from injuries, challenging your mind, getting regular exercise, and of course, getting good quality sleep.
It's not one thing or another, but it's actually bringing those things together and starting to make small changes as you can to really get to that place of having the activities that are going to benefit your brain health long term.
Experts say it's also important to recognize Alzheimer's and other dementia symptoms early and receive treatment. The earlier treatment is given, the better outcome for the current therapies.
Brought to you by Saskatchewan Union of Nurses. Thank you to Saskatchewan's 11,000 registered nurses.
All right, Jeff, one more time this week, we're going back to your stomping grounds of Nova Scotia. And this time, we're headed to the Sport Hall of Fame because they're giving fans a chance to play their own part in a new Sidney Crosby exhibit.
We thought it's a neat way for people in the community that love him, as we all do, to get involved and have their name tied to this exhibit. And it'll be there forever. As long as it's here, your name will be tied to the puck that you purchase.
The museum is redesigning its hockey section, and it will include an exhibit celebrating Crosby. Part of the display will include hundreds of pucks surrounding his dinged-up family dryer that he used to practice with as a child. The pucks will represent each of his NHL goals so far and can be bought for about $50 each. Some special ones marking career milestones are going up for special auction. And I wonder, Jeff, would the golden goal puck be going up for special auction? That was a pretty big goal that he's.
Yeah, I think that's an understatement. I would think that would, well, if let's face it, they're all just sort of, mock-ups. So why not? But yeah, the special auction price on that might be very, very high.
And I'm assuming he probably scored a few goals at the Max tournament in his under 18 days. I'd take one of those.
Sure.